Welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. And today, once again, I'm going to save you from being unexcited about soccer. Because soccer is amazing. It is the beautiful sport. And it is World Cup season. We are a month away from World Cup soccer. And it's terribly exciting because the men's team, the U.S. men's team, is actually good this year. I know you hear that every 4 years, maybe not 4 years ago. Certainly in 2014, it was an impressive run. 1994, obviously, great for us. But so there are going to be Fox Sports reporters and anchors and athletes embedded throughout the entire tournament, every game, the 64 matches that you will see in and around Fox Sports. There will be Fox Sports people there in Qatar. It's going to be a phenomenal broadcasting experience, even better for fans, because not only do you have the best teams in all of sports broadcasting, you also have a really great men's team, and you can feel the excitement building. So today, I need to talk to someone who's going to be there, someone who knows soccer, someone who has covered multiple World Cups, someone who has played lacrosse at the collegiate level, someone who understands a multitude of sports from speed skating all the way to professional hockey, where her heart resides with various family members. She has covered Supercross for Fox Sports. Again, soccer, you have seen her covering NFL for Fox. Jenny Taft, welcome to Kennedy Saves the World.
Thank you. That was a great intro. I feel awesome about myself. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You are awesome, and you're a new mom, which makes you even more awesome.
Boy, 6 months in. It's incredible.
So Travis Barker, he's famous for being Kourtney Kardashian's husband and also the drummer for Blink-182. He has one of my favorite quotes about having kids. Having kids gives you superpowers. And it really does, because it allows you to focus the most important things in your life into that which is entirely necessary. And there is nothing better at helping you prioritize what you love most than bringing a child into the world and having your heart live outside your body.
It's so wild, too, because I feel like I've had Gigi forever, but also she's been here for 6 months. And like you said, it's like this job that every single day is something new. I've always wanted to be a mom. It felt like with working as a reporter and traveling, like, how am I going to do it? And you just figure it out.
So that's a really good point, because with what you do especially, it's like these intense seasonal broadcasts and you're always traveling. And so people hold themselves back. But then you look around and you're like, oh, there are other parents. I can do this. So did you ask some of the other moms?
I did. I talked to a lot of women reporters, and I also just kind of followed my gut, and I kept thinking to myself, my mom was a working mom, and I never felt like she was away. She made it to the important events. I didn't feel like because she was working that I missed out on some of those moments. My dad traveled too, and I'm hoping that, look, I'm not bringing Gigi to Qatar. I think that would be a lot she will be, 7 to 8 months. It's a long way away. She's going to stay with some great family while I'm gone. And I thought later in life, she'll look back and think how cool that my mom was able to be a female broadcaster in Qatar covering the Men's World Cup. I mean, that's pretty unique. So I'm hoping that those are moments that she'll be proud of later on in life, and I'll be the one struggling on FaceTime. She'll be fine.
No, but you will see her on FaceTime, and you can also bring one of her blankies in a Ziploc bag, and you can give it a sniff when you need it.
Good idea.
And you guys will always be connected, so don't feel bad about that. And she, as soon as you're back, you are back in action, and you're good to go. But tell me about the men's team, because we do finally have some really exciting players. For so long, it was like Landon Donovan. And, that was really the only name that people knew. But tell me about, we have some pretty phenomenal younger players who are successfully playing in Europe. So for people who maybe don't know a lot about the men's team, what can they look forward to?
There's so much to look forward to. And you know this game, right? You know these players. And the youth of this team is something that I think ultimately will be something that matters for how good they are. So many of these guys are playing overseas. You know a guy like Christian Pulisic. He's clearly Captain America. Thank you. Look at you, 24 years old, but he hasn't had his World Cup moment, right? They didn't qualify. We know what happened in Russia, what didn't happen 4 years ago. He finally has an opportunity to really have that stage. And then there's these young players, 19 years old. I mean, we're talking about Gio Reyna. Like, we have Yunus Musa, who's this midfielder that could have played for Ghana. He could have played for Italy. He could have played for England. He chose to represent the U.S. He's 19. He's incredible.
Wow, that's amazing.
19 years old and wanted to play for the U.S. There's a great story that U.S. coach Greg Berhalter said, well, can I swear on this shit? He was like, hell yeah, we got him. Like, he was so excited when he decided to represent the U.S. And that also came from a lot of the players reaching out to him and saying, like, you want to be a part of this. So this is a group of players that have known each other from a youth level. Weston McKennie, another guy, Tyler Adams, they grew up playing together.
He coached at UCLA. Yes, he was an assistant coach at UCLA.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, in 2019.
Okay, there you go.
Go Bruins.
Look, like,
four's up.
yeah. We can talk Bruins. How about those college football Bruins? They're playing so well right now.
Yo, you mean you're 6-0 UCLA Bruins?
Oh, I know. I would love to have a game in LA. You know how I feel about that. I'm fingers crossed for a USC UCLA coming up, but that's a whole nother sport. We can talk about college football another day. They're young and they're hungry and they have this talent. And unfortunately, the last time we saw them was just a couple weeks ago. I was in Spain for the friendly. It wasn't a great performance. I know we need to score goals, but it was a weird atmosphere. There were no fans in the stands. I just believe that because they're playing overseas and they have all the tools, I think they're going to rise to the occasion. It's the most talented team by far. So can they put it together? And I believe they will.
Okay, so you talk to the people inside and outside the men's national team. How do you create chemistry? You know, do other countries do it differently than we do here? And how do you forge that necessary bond, that feeling of it's us against the world? Because, you know, that's when the elevated team play comes in, when people really feel like they are banded together and there is a sense of destiny. Now, obviously, as fans and you as a broadcaster, you want to bring that. You know, it's like we want to live that story, but how do you make that a reality?
I think it all comes from the head coach and having the same plan. And what I can say about being around this team, they really do like Greg Berhalter and they believe in his plan. And that chemistry comes from that. And I've mentioned this all day. These players really like each other. It sounds basic.
No, but
like,
it's really important.
They really like each other. They play in a fantasy football league. Walker Zimmerman is the commissioner. He writes weekly reports that they all read. They golf together all the time, and they genuinely like each other. Like, the vibe around camp has been so positive. So while the last time I saw them, some were on the cusp trying to make that team still, they really get along. And in those moments where everything's on the line at a World Cup, you have to have that backbone. And that's why I think it will matter.
I think it will matter too. And I think not being in Russia will be great. I'm disgusted that Russia got the World Cup and the Olympics. So what is it going to be like having the World Cup in November? Will we get to see live matches?
So yes, all of our matches, which is so fun for at least the group stage, you're going to wake up and see a lot of soccer. So 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m. Eastern, you're going to have all the games. The U.S. is actually playing at 2 p.m. Eastern for every match during the group stage.
That's amazing.
So we're going to have so much soccer for you. Wake up, join us. I mean, we're going to have really coverage throughout the day, Fox and FS1 and USA England, Black Friday. I mean, what an incredible moment for families to be together. Fox has always owned fall with football, and now we have USA England on Black Friday.
No, and I'm glad that it's Fox Sports bringing the World Cup to fans, because I feel like before I worked at Fox was invested in soccer and just did a much better job of delivering action and games and commentary to fans, because it's very difficult, as you know, because in this country there are two kinds of fans. There are people who follow soccer, international soccer, religiously, and Champions League, they Bundesliga, everything. They do. They follow it religiously. They know all the players, they know all the teams, they know all the national teams. And, you know, this is the pinnacle of that constant fandom. And then you have the every 4 years people, which I don't fault, because I think it's exciting. Like, you know, it's almost how we watch the Olympics. Like, I don't know a lot about biathlon. I certainly don't know a lot about curling, but when someone from the U.S. is doing well, I'm screaming. And then when they win a gold medal and they play the national anthem, I am crying. But I feel like Fox has always done a good job of, like, honoring the fans who know everything and also bringing stuff to people who are just tuning in for a little bit.
I appreciate that. And I think a lot of my colleagues are just the best of the best. I love working with Alexi Lawless. I mean, he's just so knowledgeable. Stu Holden is one of my closest friends. They're so connected to the game. He and John Strong they're going to call up to, well, it will be 300 matches together during the World Cup. So like they are such a great partnership. And I go back and forth with the fans in the US because I'm like a part of it, but I also cover other sports.
Yes.
I love soccer, but do I know every single stat about every guy? I'm not going to lie and say I do. My job, I believe, is to bring you the story about the players and help the fan base get to know these guys that we need to tell their stories.
For the full podcast, go to foxnewspodcast.com.